Hello everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. You might notice that something is missing this evening. There's no Emma. As you'll have known from previous lives, she's been working on her garden and she was wheelbarrowing a mountain of mud ready to put some borders in for her new hedging, which had arrived recently, and then had to go and order more mud, and she's managed to hurt her back, so she's sat at home. She's propped up in bed, I'm reliably informed, with a heat pad to help her back, and a variety of prescription drugs to help ease the spasm in her spine and hopefully making her feel better. There's certainly better ways to lie moaning and groaning in bed, isn't there? But we do hope she's better soon. So you've just got me tonight and my knitting and possibly Labradors. Oh, poor Emmy. There you are. I am very hurty. Look at that little face. So we didn't think it was appropriate for her to come on the live tonight, obviously under the influence of strong painkillers and muscle relaxants and things like that, because you just, it kind of removes those filters and things, doesn't it? So you've just got me. So if anybody's got any questions. Oh, thanks, Michelle. It's my new Vera Sweater, designed by the one and only Emma Sadler, with my mismatched sleeves. Can you see the colours on my sleeve? And then the other one's just got the two colours on it. Hope you could see that. I'm looking at the wrong screen myself, so it'll eventually catch up. Are you working on the Jumper of Doom this evening, Michelle? Is that your project for the night? And I've even woven the ends on my jumper, so I'm feeling quite virtuous. So what's on your needles or your hooks, everybody? What are you on with? What's Emma got to say? So she doesn't have a good filter at the best of times. We've noticed, but we never like to say. We just roll our eyes every now and then. So it's fine. So, hi Yvonne. Yeah, I do hope she feels better soon. It's really not nice, is it? I mean, we've all been there, let's be honest. We've all had a back go into spasm, and it's not fun. It's not nice at all. I am working on my Campside Cardigan, and you'll see that I am knitting a sleeve. Furthermore, you'll be astounded to know that I've already made one, and I'm almost finished the second sleeve. How cool is that? No case of sleeve gate this week, is there, Emma? So I'm quite chuffed with myself, and when I cast off this sleeve, I've just got a few ends to weave in, and my cardigan is done. So how awesome is that? Ron, are you still working on your minty tea top? I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about that one, or hopefully seeing a sneaky peeky photograph if you've got one. I don't know if anybody saw on Ravelry, Emma released a pattern for frilly knickers. She's just released the ballet sleep sack, you know, these baby sort of snuggle sacks that you wrap them in before you fasten them up with gaffer tape. Yeah, that sort of thing. So it's very pretty. It's got a really nice cable down either side. And some really big buttons. So Michelle says, I think that is my project for life. Oh, thank you, Emma. I'm very pleased with my jumper. It's a very little known British designer who designed it. I'm hoping to showcase her work. So. Now, I'm sure you'll get your jumper finished, Michelle. You just have to stick with it. You just have to be strong and a little bit monogamous, which is not really what I'm known for. Let's be honest. Queen of the whips, you know. You'll note that I've had to resort to DPNs because I'm just getting to the stage where my much loved Addy needles were sort of pinging a bit and driving me a bit bananas. The cables are quite strong and flexy on these, which is great when you've got a larger piece because it holds the weight, and obviously being a fixed circular it's not going to pop apart. But by the time you get to the smaller circumferences on the sleeves, I'm afraid I'm turning into my grandmother, who pretty much always used DPNs for sleeves, and will be laughing her socks off because as a child I used to drop them all over the floor and then mutter under my breath at them. I didn't dare swear because I'd have got the tar whipped out of me, but I can do that now. Oh, have you got a sleeve gate incident? So where are we, Yvonne? I finished the minty tea and it's blocking right now. Currently adding sleeves to the Goodale cardigan, which is supposed to be cap sleeve, but she'll wear it with more of a long sleeve. I remember that one. That's really nice. Caitlin is not too impressed at being Emma's nurse. Well, tough. It's her job. Asked her for a fruit tea as that's your beverage. I've got lukewarm tea because I forgot to make a drink. It was one of those situations where I got comfy on the sofa and then I was surrounded by Labradors who wouldn't let me get up, so I never got to do it. Oh, the finished minty tea. Can you see that in the chat? Do I need to share that page? Share screen. Yvonne Becker, there we are. So there's that beautiful minty tea, Yvonne. And I love that it's all leftovers and bits. I think that's great. It really is pretty. Can't wait to see it modelled. Which kind of whips are you queen of? Well, that depends whether I'm on Ravelry or somewhere else, Emma. I'll leave you to work that one out yourself. But yeah, your t-shirt is beautiful, Yvonne. Really is lovely. Well, you love your greys, don't you, Emma? So it's absolutely right up your alley, so to speak. Here we are. Oh, goodness, what's gone on with blooming Facebook? I don't know. Where are we? It's binned me out of the page, so I don't know if I'm still live now. Isn't this ridiculous? Stop it. All right, am I still there? Good. Well, we're back now. Right, get rid of that dialogue. So at least I can see that I'm live now. It's taken me away from the setup page. Honestly, this new Facebook layout is seriously mad. So Yvonne says it's the minty tea is wet in the photo. Model photos probably this weekend. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Can't wait to see it on. So thank you for letting me know, ladies. Is Emma not with me? No, Carol, she's in the chat with you. Emma has hurt her back. She is propped up in bed with lots of cushions and a heat pad and a boatload of drugs because her back's gone into spasm. It's not fun, is it? So we didn't think it was the right thing for her to come on live tonight, and you know what it's like if you've got no filter and then all of a sudden you're pumped full of painkillers, then all sense flies out of the windows. And it made sense that she just sit back and rest and join in on chat if she feels up to it and not if she doesn't. So just wanted to get better. She'd been lugging too much soil around that garden, putting in the hedging and making sure she's got neatly trimmed bushes. Beware. Oh, thank you, Jackie. That's my sock yarn special. Do you like my mismatched sleeves? I've got 3 colours on this one and 2 colours on this one. In fact, the lavender yarn at the top is one that you bought me in that shawl kit for, was it for my birthday or was it Christmas? I can't remember now, but you got it for me. Emma says I make it sound almost fun. Well, you know, there've got to be some perks. Well, it could have been entertaining, couldn't it, Carol? Yeah, I don't know what kind of mischief we'd have got up to, but yeah, it could have been absolutely hilarious. So yeah, she's propped up, drugged up, and just joining in on the chat. So we're all good. So I thought I'd open the floor to a bit of a Q&A. Unless you want me to lift up my campside and show you that. I've managed to get it all tangled up in the cable from my headset thing, but I'm sure I can manage to untangle it enough to show you. And has anybody binged watched anything good this week? So Jackie says, I noticed the sleeves, if they're mismatched, they're a feature. Well, I did have some of the pink mix. I had most of a ball actually left over from the shawl, and I'd split it into 2, but some naughty Labradors that you know very well decided to eat slobber and muck up with Labrador hair the other half ball. So I only got to use it on one sleeve because I didn't quite have enough, and I just thought I would then go with mismatched. Oh, Michelle says Emma on alcohol is great fun, and on drugs she would be amazing. I'll remember that for Woolfest. Are you going to be in charge of bringing the drugs for that when we go next year? Because, you know, we'll be allowed out next year, won't we? And hopefully to do stuff and actually go places. I suppose the big argument then will be which fibre festival we go to. Oh, Jackie's working her way through Umbrella Academy. And you're on Series 1 or Series 2? I really enjoyed that. Has anybody else watched Umbrella Academy? It's quite quirky. But I really like the characters. I particularly like the one that sees the dead. Is it Klaus? He just really makes me laugh. Jake and I have been watching Ozark on Netflix together. Although I'm a little bit ahead of him now. So he's got to do some serious catching up because I'm about half a series ahead of him. He's just been slacking. So I think Umbrella Academy is another sort of comic book one brought to series. It's quite clever. I think you'd find it amusing, Yvonne. It's good characters. Oh, Emma, I binge watched Chernobyl yesterday. Oh, do you know I cried buckets at that? I think because I remember it. And I don't know, it feels a bit too close to home. I found it really quite distressing. And these people that you knew were going to die, a horrible lingering death, and all the cover-ups and the lies and everything just to try and save face instead of saving lives. It was very sad, Chernobyl. Series 2, says Jackie. Husband watching with me, so not binge watching, but 1 episode a night. Well, that's not too bad because you can keep up with the story then. I think if you end up watching too many together, it's hard to keep track of what's going on. So, right, forgive me if I'm looking down. I'm trying to do an alternative SSK. And I've just not, I can't, like a standard SSK I can do without looking, but I do have to look for that one because you kind of twist the first stitch before you work into the back of the second one. Has anybody used the alternative SSK? Is that someone you're familiar with? Oh, Emma was 10. She's just showing off how young she was. I think I was probably 100. I don't know. I would either be in my late teens or early 20s, I suppose. I remember a lot of women had miscarriages or stillbirths that particular year. Oh, Carlene's saying she watched a Netflix series called I Am Not Okay With This, and that was quite good. I've not heard of that one, Carlene. I'll look it up. Thank you. Always looking for good recommendations. See, Yvonne's another one, Too Young to Remember, but not to eat berries or mushrooms from the forest. Yeah, we had a government warning on the news that's more or less said, you know that really heavy rain yesterday? Well, don't go out in it. But it's sort of on a par with the UK government, really. Why be on time when you can be late and pointless? So, you know, all good. Is Windermere Children about the kids from Chernobyl? No. Windermere Children is about children who were rescued from the Nazis, Jewish children who were brought to Windermere to a centre to help integrate them and get them back into some semblance of life. It's a fascinating programme. It really is, and it's something that my area is exceptionally proud of having been involved in. It's absolutely beautiful, and those children, you then see the kids who played them together with the adults who are still alive now at the end, and I think it's brilliant. It's a real story of hope and triumph against such extreme adversity. So no, not about Chernobyl, it's about World War II. Carleen says if you like comic stuff then you might like it. Yeah, absolutely do. I've been watching Fallout. I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago. That's a spoof of like Scandi crime, like a spoof of The Killing. That was quite clever. And I've got another Scandi one to watch called Bonus Family, about step families basically, and all the complications you can imagine in those kind of relationships. You know what it's like when you're navigating kids and access and exes and all of that stuff. I'm sure most people in that situation could write a comedy about some of the situations they've got themselves into or out of. So, you know, it's all good. So has anybody been doing the gnome knit-alongs, or what have you made this week that you're really proud of? What can you tell us about? Oh, Carol, I am watching the Vikings. Is it good? Are you enjoying it, Carol? I watched the North. Is it Northmen or Norsemen on Netflix? That's more of a spoof. That's definitely a comedy based on the Vikings. That's a Norwegian one, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Probably for all the wrong reasons, really. It was very cleverly observed in terms of the characters. Quite funny. So is the Vikings one quite violent? Oh, very gory. That answers that question. Yeah. Maybe not one for late at night. Perhaps one to watch during the day. I'll tell you what I did watch today, and it was more by accident. It was messing about on Netflix and trying to scroll down with that stupid little Amazon Fire Stick remote and managed to click select, and I watched Venom, the Marvel movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it with Tom Hardy. I've never really seen The Attraction, but he was quite good in that. Are you a Tom Hardy fan, Yvonne? I seem to think that you've mentioned him. Oh, Last Kingdom on Netflix is good. I don't think I've watched that either. I'll maybe add that one to my list. And I'm hoping to watch Borgen when it's back on, I think it's the 1st of September. So that was good. Did get followed by a wasp today. I had to go down to the local pub and just briefly meet our MP when he's on his sort of summer surgery, so visiting places around the constituency, and you can just go along and you can get a couple of minutes with him to discuss whatever. So I had an issue to do with public transport I just needed some help with, and he's going to help with that, and that's good. But this wasp decided it was going to escort me all the way home. I didn't invite it in though, and it certainly didn't get a kiss. So otherwise I'd be laid up with the hot pad and lots of drugs. So I mean, that could have been quite a party, couldn't it, Emma Jane Sadler? The pair of us have been off our face. I'm really not good if you remove the filters. The words come out and I've just got no control. It's not to be recommended. If you add too much alcohol, yeah, it's not good. I don't know what Slimming World's going to be like this week. I've not had a super on plan week, but I kind of hold it back onto plan yesterday. Oh, Yvonne says it's a fun movie, and yes, I like Tom Hardy since the Mad Max film. Oh, not is that the newer Mad Max? Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one, but I have heard you talk about Tom Hardy. Oh, Emma says wasps don't understand social distancing. No, they don't. It really was quite rude. It was trying to get in my pocket, which is like way sneaky, isn't it? Because then you go putting your hand in. And he knits, I think, or learned on the set of Mad Max. Oh, how utterly cool is that? I like him much more already. Unusually, even though in Venom he does look a bit sort of rough and ready and grizzled, which is usually how I like them. I wasn't that bothered. It's amazing how fussy you get when you don't stand a chance, isn't it? But never mind. Isn't it odd to think that the first Mad Max was sort of set around about, is it 2020 or 2021? I really don't even want to think about what that bodes for next year. Perhaps we should just pass that one by. So what are we knitting or crocheting at the moment? What have we got on our hooks and our needles? Or are we planning? Are we trying to work through some whips? There are worse places for a wasp to go. Sorry, says Michelle. Yes, I suppose there are lots of worse places for a wasp to go than my pocket, but thankfully it knobbed off and went somewhere else. Helen, sweater looks fab. Have you lost Emma? I have lost Emma. She's hurt her back. It's in spasm. Long story short, she's off her face on drugs, propped up in bed, and you should be able to see comments from her in chat. We didn't think it was a sensible combination to have Emma popped up on painkillers and relaxants and stuff actually live. So we're giving her a night off this evening, and she's got a hot pad on her back, and that's kind of helping a little bit as well. So, and she's knitting. Now this is your own design, isn't it, Emma? The cardigan you're knitting for your mum using the Stylecraft Bellissima, and it's like is it like a deep rose, kind of a raspberry colour? It's very pretty. Anyway. Oh, other Helen's here. Block 3 of strip 4 for the blanket. I saw that you had spent 8 days of your life on one of those blocks, Helen. I am astounded at your staying power on that, because I'd have probably burnt it, or possibly me. To spend 8 days on a 12-inch block, that would drive me totally bananas. Helen C says that I'm a spoil sport for not letting you off here, letting you up on here while you're off your face on drugs, Emma. So, you know, if you do still want to let everybody see you in bed with your pyjamas and all of that, then I can probably invite you, but I think you should rest. So it's Emma's first saddle shoulder sweater. Very good. Now I'm wearing Vera, which was designed by Emma, knitted by me, in sock yarn. I have to tell you, I am absolutely boiling. I am absolutely roasted. But I'm not taking it off. I said I would wear it and I won't be beat by a jumper. I need to do a quick count while I'm on my next row. Otherwise I'll end up with the sleeve that's longer on one side than the other. That wouldn't be a good look, would it? It would look like Auntie Sis had knitted it for Cousin Ed. Oh, Helen Gibson says it's chilly up there in Scotland, in the borders. Well, yeah, I mean, it probably will be chilly. Have you got the storm up there at the moment? My mum said something about how the storm was sort of going to go through us the other day and then go across to the east and then go back up to the north and then hit us again on the way back down. So it was kind of circle dancing around the country. Who had circle dancing storms on their list for August? Because I had land sharks. I totally got that one wrong. Carleen says, oh, Emma says, funny how a 4-ply jumper can be so warm. Honestly, it's absolutely roasting. But very, very light. It doesn't feel heavy at all. Carleen says 13 Celsius there, so all bundled up. You've got some great cardigans. And are you spinning at the moment, Carleen? Or are you knitting up some of your beautiful hand spun? Carleen is a genius with her hand spun and colours. You should really check out some of the yarns that she's spun. They're fabulous. Right, here we are. Oh, Helen says, hang on. Yes, so Helen says they only got the edges of the Storm River Rose but didn't break the banks. Emma says it's persisting it down there. Wore her jumper to get the shopping in the big storm on Tuesday and had to change when she got home. Because it got wet, Emma, or because you were just sweating buckets? Could be either. Carol, 66 Fahrenheit, 19 centigrade here with rain and thunder. Oh, is it humid as well? Because that's worse, isn't it? I think the humidity can make it feel a lot warmer than it actually is. I look glowing, do I? Maybe I think Emma will probably look glowing with all those drugs in her system. Michelle says she fancies trying to knit a blanket, but an easy level one, not Helen's and Emma's, not mine and Emma's easy. No, well, you could just do garter squares in different colours, or Tin Can Knits have got a really nice pattern. I think it's called Vivid, and it's just a repeat of a lace square, and you just do it in different colours, so it would improve your lace skills and give a really beautiful blanket. And you can just use up odds and sods. You don't even have to do a stash. I mean, far be it from me to stop you going to a yarn shop or ordering online, obviously. Carleen says, I am spinning mostly, but need to get back to a sweater I was knitting installed on the sleeves. Is this the one where you were looking at changing the sizing on the sleeves because they were too big? Is this the one we had the conversation over? Oh, Emma says she was too hot in her sweater. It's not. Yeah, it's a funny time of year, isn't it? Emma Jane Sadler replying to Carleen, #sleevegate. Yeah, that's usually my hashtag. I am on my second sleeve, I'll let you know. Oh, Emma says she'll show you how to do a mitered square, Michelle. So there you are, that's you sorted. They are super easy mitered squares. And they're a really good way to use up yarns. And if Emma wanted to really show off, she could teach you how to kind of join them as you go. So you don't even have the sewing up. Helen C, I did a blanket that was a few different textures, but just knit and purl, and that was easy and really effective. Do you remember what the pattern was with that, Helen, or was it just something you made up from sort of a stitch dictionary or something? Oh, here we go. Yvonne, advertising for myself a bit. So the Mer Baby blanket. Oh, well, you can have a look at that, can't you, Michelle? That is a cute one. Just Googling tin can knits, and it's called Vivid. Have a look for it on Ravelry. The easiest place to find it. Right, so Callie's saying, yeah, sleeves just didn't seem the right size. It's often the way. And I think as well with the grading, a lot of people don't understand how to accurately grade the sleeves and look at the armholes so that they're a good fit. It's not always the best, is it? The worst bit of a jumper for me, if I could knit them first, that's what I would do. Easy if you know how to knit in the round and can be made to any size. Well, that's good. You know how to knit in the round, Michelle. It was in a kit, says Helen, but very easy to copy, and she'll add a picture to the group. Brilliant, thank you. That would give Michelle another idea. So fantastic. I was chatting to a friend today, and his wife is due a baby in October. And he's been given the sobering thought from their 8-year-old, who's eagerly awaiting the arrival of a younger brother, that not only is his mum his best mate and he's number one on the list of people that he loves, but should be dropped to number 2 on the list when the baby arrives. So Ben said, well, where am I on the list? Where will I be? And his son said, you'll be number 5. And he said, how do I get to be number 5? And he said, well, the dog's in front of you. So that's him told. I thought that was quite amusing because kids just say it how they see it, don't they? So he's going to be fighting for last place with the dog, and I think the dog's going to just consistently win that particular argument. So there you are. Wait, what's that? So I was just saying, I just came up with a notification and then disappeared again. Right. So what else is going on? Have we got any yarny news or exciting stuff? Has anybody tried a new yarn this week? Or I've seen some fabulous autumn colours on Instagram with gradient sets and things like that. Has anybody been inspired to disappear out and perhaps invest in one of those? You know, one of those AutoCart accidental purchases that you just have to say, well, I don't know how it happened, and anyway, it's here now. It's insulation, really. So, you know, it's all good. I am tempted to go back and get some more of this Highland Heathers. Try and get up close. I don't know if you can see the variations in the yarn. There's little bits of teal. There's this bright sort of gorse yellow. The colour itself is called gorse. It's got like a honey colour in it. It's got a cooler green, like a foresty colour, and it's got variations of warm greens and yellows in there. It's really rich. Can you see there's a couple of little blobs of teal that are just fantastic. Oh, Helen says, James loves me, infinity hearts, Edward a million hearts, and Bruce about 104 hearts. I didn't like to ask about the dog. Well, no, I wouldn't ask about the dog because you don't want to be demoted, do you? And Emma says the dog's number 1 in her house. Yvonne, well, P's coronavirus test was negative, but the stress involved in it and how my boss didn't deal with it has me on sick leave since Tuesday because it triggered her depression big time. I don't know what it is with your boss, Yvonne. She does seem to be her own worst enemy with her attitude. I'm sorry that she was like that because there's no need for it. But I am glad that P's test is negative. That is very good news. Although, of course, part of you wonders if it would be better to have got it out the way. But then again, I wouldn't want it again and I wouldn't wish it on anybody else. So I'm just glad he's fine. So how long are you signed off for, Yvonne? Have you got a couple of weeks to kind of recover? I certainly wouldn't like to think you would have to go rushing back. Helen says the coffee machine is #1 in her house. Well, I like your priorities, Helen. That makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely perfect sense. And it probably doesn't answer back either. Or sort of roll its eyes at you, you know, when you ask a perfectly reasonable question, and it does the eye rolly thing that I get oh so often from somebody in my house. Michelle's had a COVID unclear test, whatever that means. Do not have to isolate, but trying to stay in until she can do another one. Yeah, that's not really helpful, is it, Michelle? Jackie, I saw all the shades of Highland Heathers today. Didn't buy any, but there was a lovely purple I quite liked and a blue one. I knew you would like the blue. That is really nice. And I quite like the darker of the two purples. There's a lighter one, and I really like the richness of the dark one. The name of it is gone. I can't remember it, but I could maybe have a look, but it's gone. Yvonne signed off until Friday for now, but might go and see doctor again tomorrow. I think that's a good idea, Yvonne. Don't go rushing back. I don't. You know, if your doctor thinks you need more time, then take it. You know, don't be pushed into it just because your boss is some kind of numbskull. Emma Jane Sadler, I am supposed to have a return to work meeting in the morning. Let's take bets if that will happen. Well, I don't know about bets, Emma, but I would like to sell tickets if you're going on those drugs. Because if you're there on codeine and ibuprofen, paracetamol, and your relaxant. Oh, how much? Helen Curzon, how much will you pay me for tickets for us to go and see that? I think that would be brilliant. I'm definitely selling tickets. We'll get that onto Eventbrite later on this evening. Helen says it's the perfect partner, provides just what you need and never makes a mess. I'm in love with it already. What sort is it? Jackie says I didn't. Didn't what? Didn't what? I need to scroll back now. We were talking about Highland Heathers. Yeah, I'm absolutely certain that you would have loved the blue as soon as we looked at it online a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Very funny, Emma. Oh, Fox's Farmer's Knit and Pearl Baby Blanket. So let's open that up and then do a screen share so that we can... Oh, Glass can see it. Here we go. Right. Knit Pearl Baby Blanket. Oh, that is pretty. I like those sections. That looks very achievable, doesn't it? Can everybody see that? Nice basket weave. Lovely sort of angled rib. Really nice textured pearl diamonds there. Oh, and I like the border. Is that double moss or double seed stitch? Plenty of garter there. Really, really pretty, Helen. I like that. Good choice. Yeah, I don't envy you having to travel on public transport, Yvonne, at all. I've got to go to a meeting in Warrington on the 21st of next month, and I'm going to have to travel in a minibus with other people, and I'm really not happy about it, but I don't think I can actually get out of it, so one of those things. Michelle, I think I'm the only one who's not in love with the Highland Heathers colours, although Emma did like the salmon. One, Emma said I would. I think the wild salmon one is beautiful, but I am absolutely biased because it's totally my colours. And the deep purple for me as well. Helen. Sage. What's Sage the Oracle? Right, so Jackie liked the darker purple, but she didn't see a lighter purple. I can't remember if Pat actually had that in stock when I went. I don't think she had all of the colours. There's quite a few colours. But I think this is what I've got left of my 4th ball of the gorse. And I still haven't counted my stitches. And I need to do that fairly soon, because otherwise I'm going to end up with no stitches left for my cuffs and one arm that's 6 inches longer than the other. Knowing me. Michelle, oh, I like that blanket. It's so simple but looks good, says Helen. It is. It's beautiful. And it looks like it actually took quite a lot of effort, but I'll bet it was quite a relaxing knit. Helen says she wouldn't want to do public transport. Helen Gibson, one of my early patterns was a scrappy easy blanket of the rainbow throw, and she'd be happy to gift it. If you want that, Michelle, well, there you are, Michelle. There's a brilliant offer. So that gives you a few choices, doesn't it? But a blanket can be quite soothing. And anybody that crochets, I know that Yvonne is very keen on crochet and very good, very talented. I find crochet for blankets really quite soothing. It's quite relaxing. Now, I've still not counted these stitches, have I? I've got 4 there. I might have to do this out loud. 8. 12. 16. 20. 24. Just need to move these needles around or I'm going to lose those. I was on 24, wasn't I? Oh, Helen said she was pregnant at the time she knitted that and it worked well with brain dead. Oh, God, yeah. I think I had a lobotomy while I was pregnant. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Oh, I'm getting close. Still got a few rows. 43, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 3 more lots of decreasing every 6 rows to do, and then one after another decrease either side on the next row, and then I should have exactly the right number for my cuffs, and it should be the same length as the other sleeve. I suppose if I were being clever I would actually check one sleeve against the other, wouldn't I? But I could always block it. Wow, Michelle just counted her stitches and she has the right amount on the jumper of doom. Well done. Sounds like my type of pattern, not pregnant but definitely mentally challenged. We all have our moments. I mean, goodness, the way that 2020's been, I mean, it's a wonder anybody's just getting by, to be honest. I think the fact that we're all still being creative and we're having a really good time with either our knitting or TV or anything else, spinning and the like, it's all good. I don't know if you follow Carleen on Facebook, but her and Andre have been doing quite a bit of work on their cottage, and I've been really loving seeing the photographs of the wildlife and the stuff that they're doing in the house, and sat of an evening crafting and things like that. It's been really nice to connect in that way during lockdown. It's been very pleasing to be able to see life going on kind of as normal. I'm all tangled up now. Hang on. Fling that over there. I've not got much left. I'm really hoping to get to the end of this sleeve because that would mean I've got the Campside Cardigan out of 4 balls of Highland Heathers. So 12 quid. I mean, how low budget is that? Helen, could I start the sleeves higher up on Vera? I've ordered a sweater kit with gradient sleeves and I don't want to waste the gradients. Absolutely. I mean, the important thing is about your armhole decks, and that will vary on the sizes. So I've picked a smaller size. It's actually got plenty of room as it is, but I could have started higher up, and you could do that with intarsia. Sort of, you could even start up here if you've got a beautiful gradient set, and that would be really lovely. That would work really well. Would you split each one of those gradient skeins? It's sort of 50-50, so that you get equal amounts on each side of your sleeve, or are you looking at working so many inches in each colour irrespective? Because obviously the higher up you start, if you start in the raglan area up here, you'll be using less wool than you would from the underarm down, obviously, because you've got more sleeves to be dealing with. So just worth thinking about that. But yeah, intarsia would work really well. I can't give you any great advice on that other than maybe if you're on Blueprint / Craftsy, whatever it's called this week. Anne Burke has got some really good classes on intarsia. It's not something I have mastered or I'm very good at. In fact, my intarsia knitting is really messy. So less said, the best mended on that one. Can't be good at everything. Would that be intarsia in the round? I've never tried it myself. Yes, it would. And you probably need different yarn bobbins for each sleeve. That's the way I would do it, because you obviously wouldn't want to float it across the body sections. That would just be pig awkward and yeah, not fun. At least I think it would make it complicated to even try. But yeah, I would have different yarn for the sleeves. I would split the skeins into 2 50-50 and do it that way. Has anybody else tried intarsia on raglan sleeves like that? Any advice you would like to share? Is that something you're really good at? Do share your expertise. We would love to know. What else can I tell you? I launched the patterns for the Mary Eleanor dress and the baby ballet wrap cardigan this week, so that was really fun. I was quite chuffed with that, and I was super pleased with my test knitters on the dress in particular, who were a brilliant help and were really good about feeding back about where I maybe explained things one way and they'd understood it another, and just trying to get the wording right so that it made as much sense as possible. So yeah, super chuffed with that. And absolutely delighted Kate Poe or Rose Gill on the after party group got the most gorgeous photo of her niece Pickle wearing the dress and just looks adorable, absolutely adorable. Helen, it would look nice starting on the shoulders. I'll show you when it arrives and get an opinion. I think they're 300 yards each, so should be enough. Well, to put that into perspective, I used 97 grams for both sleeves. So yeah, more than sufficient. Yvonne says intarsia and I don't get along. Yeah, I totally get that. I really struggle with it. Yeah, honestly, it does my head in. Michelle, as usual, I have no idea what intarsia is. I have so much to learn. So intarsia is, do you remember, think of like a 1980s Benetton colour block sweater where you change from, say, bright yellow to bright red, and then you've got a sleeve that's in blue, and then the back's got orange and puce or something like that. Every time you change colour, you're having to twist the yarns so that there isn't a hole when you change from one colour to the next. And that technique is called intarsia, where you're doing large blocks of colours within another colour. Emma says she's got to put a popper, a snap fastener thing on her little ballet wrap cardigan and get it off to her new granddaughter. So are you going to tell everybody the name, Emma? So I'm sure she'll look absolutely adorable in it. Oh, Helen says I've done K Facets tumbling blocks twice. Your colour work of all types just leaves me standing, Helen. Your work's absolutely beautiful, and a lot of yours have been worked flat as well, not in the round either, you know, which is an added layer of complication, purling in colour work and reading charts backwards. So, right, so Michelle gets that good. Helen, crap, my kit is DK. Wait, I'll have to order another one in fingering. Oh, I am really sorry about that, Helen. That's disastrous. You'll have to order more yarn. Yeah, crying on the inside. But, you know, you've got now a beautiful gradient set in double knit that will just be amazing for something else. So, Samantha Emma's born this morning at 6 a.m, weighing £8, 5 ounces. Glad I only made 0 to 3 months and bigger. Yeah, because that's a good sized baby. Not the whopper that her brother was, but my goodness, yeah, I bet that's stung. Oh. Yeah, Jake was £7 exactly. Cheap at half the price. Right, I just need to pay attention as I approach my marker and figure out how many rows I've got to do before these decreases. Oh, I've got another 3. Well, 2 and then the decrease row. You know what I mean. You're with me. So her other name is Hope. So are they going to call her Hope, or are they going to call her Samantha? Because Hope Samantha's, it doesn't exactly trip off the tongue, does it? Oh, there's a photo of her on FB and she's adorable. Oh, what babies are. They're all really sweet. I couldn't eat a whole one, but Pete was 3 kilos, however much that is in pounds. Well, there's 2.2 pounds per kilo, so £6. It won't be 6 ounces, will it? Because there's 12 ounces in a pound, and we need to decimalize to get 2.2. So probably somewhere between 6 and 7 pounds. A similar weight to Jake, Yvonne. Oh, here are the sweater kits. Mine is in rose gold DK. So let me just open that up and then I'll share screen, everybody, and then we can all have a good snack. And anybody else that would like to order a kit, you know, by the Blue Brick Inspired Works. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. Should I be looking for something else? That is stunning. What does everybody else think about that? stop that now. Ah, there we are. 16 ounces in a pound. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. It's not. Yeah, it's not decimal, is it? I always get mixed up because I have to work out. My scales do kilos, doesn't do stones and pounds, but the lady at Swimming World wants stones and pounds, so I always have to go online, and that's 14 pounds in a stone, isn't it? So yeah, 16 ounces in a pound. Well spotted, Helen. Hope was 3.86 kilo. Oh, well, there you are. Yeah, I don't think I was far off as a rough guesstimate. What did we think of the sweater kits? P would have been 6.6. Yeah, but that's £6, 8 ounces, is it? No, £6.10, probably, something like that. I hate doing maths in my head. I'm really not good at it. I adore it. Love the waterfall style and graduated colours. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really lovely. I'm not seeing prices. Am I completely missing something? Oh, I've just had, yeah, we won't look at the patterns and kits because, yeah, serious enabling to be done there. And I'll just be told off for doing that. Oh, Yvonne says it doesn't help that we have pounds too, which are exactly 500 grams. See, even more confusion. I would just be losing the plot. That's even worse. Right, I need to carry on with knitting these sleeves, otherwise I'm going to fall behind. I was really hoping I'd have finished this sleeve for tonight when I was chatting to you, but never mind. It'll do tomorrow, and then hopefully I can get Jake to take a photograph for Sunday when I'm wearing it. I don't think I'll be wearing it over my sweater though, because yeah, I'm boiled, absolutely boiled. But another few weeks and I will be really glad of that layer, won't I? And the mornings this week seem to have been quite cool and autumnal and very fresh. I know Rosie and Jake really struggled with that after coming back from Sicily. I think it was 36 degrees at the start of their week there, and it dropped down to about 26, which was a bit more bearable when they were coming back. And of course, they came back here and it was 15 or 16 C and storms and all sorts. Yvonne, that's why I only do weight in metric, and then she can deal with length and stuff either way. Yeah, I totally get that, and I don't blame you. Just go with what works for you. Helen put the heating on yesterday. So yeah, I have a rule, ours doesn't go on until well into October, ideally the end of October. And there are signs all over the house about, are you wearing socks? Have you got a jumper on? Are you wearing shorts or long trousers? Because if you're not, go on, and if you don't pay the bill, the heating doesn't go on. What he doesn't know is I've actually disabled the central heating at the boiler, so even if he starts faffing about with the thermostat, it won't come on until I make it. So I don't know if he's figured that out yet. I don't think so. Probably watching this live now and making notes. Oh, £6, 9.8 ounces. So I wasn't bad then when I said £6.10. What's that? That's my revised estimate. Emma's hoping we'll have a nice warm September. That would be lovely. Sort of Indian summer they used to call it, didn't they? Helen says, James thinks your knitting needles are a ninja star. He thinks you must be very cool. I've probably never been called cool in my life. cold, perhaps, but, but never cool. Well, they are a bit like a ninja star. I probably need another needle to get away with that, though, don't I? But yeah, it probably does look a bit like magic for the uninitiated, doesn't it? Honestly, my gran will be laughing her socks off at the thought of me knitting with DPNs at any kind of speed, because I really used to get frustrated with them and angry. And my mum, they had to knit a pair of socks for sort of what was equivalent to home economics when she was at school, and in 5 years she never finished that pair of socks. And my gran was an amazing knitter. She was absolutely mortified that my mother couldn't knit. Oh, Rita says, I think you're cool, Lorraine. Oh, thank you, Rita. You are lovely. How are you today? Are you staying safe in amongst all that crazy weather across the pond, or are you well away from it? Helen, see, we had some sheep down from Scotland the year of Chernobyl, horrendous lambing problems and a lot of deformities. I wouldn't have wanted to be having a human baby. Now, we had several stillbirths. 2 women had babies die in the womb and had to go through full birth, natural birth, obviously, for them to come out, which must have just been heartbreaking, and a series of miscarriages and 1 baby that died a couple of days old. So yeah, it wasn't nice, but the lambing was particularly bad that year, and yeah, not nice at all. Emma Jane Sadler, I just made Callum make me another hot drink. Well, good for you. I need to have a slurp of my cold tea. So, oh, that's nice and refreshing. I forgot to have my Aldi tropical brassed pineapple and grapefruit drink today. I'm seriously slipping. So, and somebody recommended an Aldi, but my Aldi don't stock it, which is very remiss of them. It's a lime and mint canned pop, which they said with added alcohol was a bit like having a mojito. I wouldn't know because I've not actually had a mojito, but there you are. It sounded refreshing, so it's been on my list for 2 weeks and I've still not found any. Bit gutted. Rita says we are well away from the hurricane, although we may get some of the rain from its remnants on Saturday. Well, you just stay safe, keep out of it. I suggest staying at home and doing lots of crochet. Have you had a go at the lining of your beautiful bag yet, or have you been too busy for that this week? So I remember you telling us about the fabric for it. Emma says, I've got Captain Morgan Ticky this week. I was going to have one tonight, but not with these pills. No, because that would mean another trip to hospital, I think. Codeine and alcohol, not a good combo. Not to be recommended, and particularly not with ibuprofen and paracetamol and heat pads and muscle relaxants. So yeah, you just stop where you're at, Emma, and no booze. Yvonne's asking Rita, where in the US are you? So yeah. Is anybody else other than Michelle and I knitting on a sleeve? Helen Curzon, are you working on a shawl at the moment? We were talking about shawls the other week. I could watch that, don't really care about the content when looking at Tom Hardy. I thought as a film I quite enjoyed Venom, and it was quite funny in places. It was quite clever. And if they made a follow-up, I would definitely watch it. They did seem to like to get an awful lot of close-ups of his back muscles and shoulders and things like that, but always fully covered, rarely bare-chested. So, you know, tastefully done, not lechy. don't think I've really noticed him in anything. I know people have talked about how amazing he is. And didn't he do some children's stories for the BBC? Because there was a load of women in one of the forums that I'm in that were, you know, panting with excitement at the thought of it. Yeah, I didn't really get it. Oh, so Rita says I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I'm none the wiser as to whereabouts that is, other than it's in the continental US. But whether that's north, south, east, west, or whatever, I'm going to have to do a bit of Google foo there, Rita, I'll have to admit. It is not my strong suit. Helen Gibson, I liked it, but apparently the comic geeks weren't happy as it changed so much. Oh, okay. Yeah, they do like things to be kind of true to the comic stories, don't they? But I didn't really have an issue with it. And Stan Lee, as usual, was in it. So he must have had some sort of editorial override. If he wasn't happy, he'd have stopped it. So I don't see what the issue is. I kind of liked the relationship and where it was going. It was quite a hopeful ending for me. Set up nicely for a sequel for those who like Tom Hardy, obviously. I don't understand why that character wasn't in more of the sort of crossover universe, but I suppose they've got that many characters to play with, haven't they? That they'll be gradually adding them in over many years. Does anybody watch any good podcasts or anything on YouTube that amused them or was informative this week? I quite enjoyed it. Honestly, it was such a brief tutorial about the alternative SSK, and I'm really liking the way the decrease looks and how much neater it is. So I'd certainly recommend Googling that and having a quick looky on YouTube. Right, so Rita's saying sorry, Virginia's mid-Atlantic state, not deep south, but not north either. Charlottesville is about 2 hours southwest of Washington, D.C. and about 3 hours west of the Atlantic coast. Okay, so I kind of got you now, but don't apologise. It's my ignorance. It's not yours. Lots of characters are being killed off as out of contract. Yeah. You kind of get that with regular series, don't you, where sort of a main character that you've grown to know and love is all of a sudden in a coma at the end of the series, and you just know that that's contract negotiations, and it's an easy way to kill them off next time. Have somebody dressed up in a load of bandages and not even bring them in on the series. Don't know anyone there, Rita, says Yvonne, but I have a good friend in Tulsa, Oklahoma. No, Emma, I am not going to sing anything from Oklahoma. Don't ask. It's not happening. If Hugh Jackman were here, I might be persuaded to listen to him. But you know, I probably want him more as Wolverine than I would as Curly from Oklahoma. Kind of looking at these needles and thinking I might have got 4 of one size and one of another. It'll be close enough. You know me, near enough will do. Emma Jane Sadler says she's disappointed. No, I honestly wouldn't want to inflict it on anybody's ears. And it's the sort of thing that can't even be forgotten with therapy. No. And Yvonne's not feeling great. It's not fair for me to start singing on top of that, is it? That's just me. Okay, so we need to do a row count when we get to the end of round marker. One, 2, 3. So this will be my 4th. That's the end of row 4, round 4, I should say, start of round 5, and then next is the decrease. Oh, Yvonne says can't be any worse than my singing. I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, Yvonne. It's just not where my talent lies. My parents can sing, and most of my aunts and uncles, and in fact nearly all the Birchalls except me, are really good singers. But then again, most of them can't read either because they've got dyslexia and other issues, so, and I speed read. So I guess it's wherever your gifts are, isn't it? I mean, I can't walk across the room without falling over my own feet, and they can all throw and catch and really good at games and anything kind of physical, and I'm just not. So, all right, neither can I, says Yvonne. That's fine. I'm in good company. We don't need to sing. Emma can sing at home in bed on a drug cocktail with her fresh tea. So, feels like that's going to be a long sleeve. I'm pretty sure I got my stitch counts correct. Yeah, I'm okay. So I was chatting to PJ the other day. Did everybody know that she's had another bit of a fall and managed to sprain her ankle? So she's resting up at the moment with the ankle gently laid on the pillow. Rest, ice, compression, elevation, as they say. And having to be super careful with it. She managed to turn round on the wooden steps in the foyer where she usually sits for her Zoom calls, and then missed the edge of the step with her shoe. Managed not to hit any furniture, which would have been really disastrous and could have obviously caused problems with her shoulder, which she's only recently had repaired and is recovering very beautifully from. To say. Emma says Alicia likes long sleeves. She does, but I'm not doing the sleeves for the length that she says. I reordered my decreases. So they'll still be a touch long, but they'll be close enough. As I always say, near enough is better than not done. Oops. I think I can maybe get rid of a needle now. I definitely need to do a quick count. 2, 4. No, Yvonne, she doesn't seem to have a lot of luck, does she? If there is a fall to be had or an injury to be found, PJ seems to be in the middle of it, bless her. But it's recovering quite nicely, and at least it's not a break. And she seems in really good spirits. She's been doing some really beautiful knitting. She was working on a garter shawl that's knitted side to side, and at the sort of bottom edge of this, it's like not a deep triangle, a shallow triangle, and at the bottom edge of the triangle, every so many inches, is a beautiful garter leaf that you do with short row shaping. Really, really pretty. Michelle just had to put a light on to knit. Who brought dark nights forward? I don't know, Michelle. It wasn't me, but yeah, I know that feeling. There's a couple of mornings where I've got up and I've felt like it was as dark as a bag, and obviously it wasn't, but yeah, just one of them things. Oh, Emma says her mum wants short sleeves on her cardi. Well, that's good. That's a lot less knitting, and you could knit those before you did the body, couldn't you? To avoid sleeve gate. And mornings too, walking Arthur at 5, but had to move the alarm to 5:30. Yeah, well, maybe move it a bit later tomorrow and get the kids to walk the dog. Just a suggestion. So, you know. And I forgot I was counting on this row, so I'm going to have to go back to the beginning. Excuse me a moment. Baby brain. He's only 20. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. 42, 44, 45. I think I'm decreasing it at the end of this round, and that should leave me with 44. Yes, it should. So that means I've got 6 more rows with the decrease, and then my final decrease to do. And then I can change to smaller needles for the cuff ribbing. And then I'll have to look at the other sleeve, because I didn't do the prescribed amount of ribbing, did I? So I looked at it and thought, yeah, I'll do a little bit extra. Because, you know, can't follow a pattern. Emma Jane Sadler said it's felt like autumn since the beginning of August. It has. And it's been a bit of a weird year. And we did have a very good May. Helen says, yeah, it really feels like autumn. Yeah, very much so in the mornings. Quite cool in the mornings. And I feel a bit sad for Jake because he's been growing tomatoes, or, well, tomato plants. Not actual tomatoes yet, but he's getting to the point where the plants are probably going to be composted. But his chili plants are doing okay, and they look like they might actually start fruiting if we bring them indoors. So maybe a little crop of something at least to keep him interested. But he did start with his greenhouse about 2 or 3 months too late in the process. But it was one of those things he did on a whim and without really thinking through. But, you know, that's what being young is all about, isn't it? Emma says, I realised I've still got my bra on even though you can't see me. Well, that's because I have trained you well after the initial colourwork sweater with the boobs round your belly button incident. Oh, Helen C says she doesn't think her peppers are going to fruit. Oh, that's disappointing. Are they in a greenhouse? Do you think you can trick them with a bit more heat? Send green tomatoes up to the other Helen for chutney. Oh, Carol, I've got to go empty the dryer now and put some sheets on the bed. Oh, that's no fun, is it? How's your ankle doing, Carol? I meant to ask. Are you healing nicely after your own incident? Because that was no fun, was it? I've got some washing in the machine that I really must remember to bring in and hang up before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'll forget it in the morning and then find it in the machine next time I go to do some laundry. Helen, they're on the patio in grow bags, so I really can't move them. Oh, could you repot them? It's a shame you can't trick them. I mean, we could end up with an Indian summer and have them. Oh, Carol says that her ankle is 99% better, thanks. Oh, that's really good to know. So pleased. Did you manage to sell your shoes? Your beautiful new shoes that you never really got a chance to wear, did you? Oh, that was, I don't know. Life could be such a pig on occasion, can't it? No fun at all. Go. Oh, I'm too lazy, says Helen C. So no, that all sounds like a lot of effort, does it? Too busy knitting, maybe. Or are you not knitting? Are you doing some ironing or something sort of chores-ish? Joined us for a bit of sanity. Oh, the shoes are still for sale. You'll have to put them in the Facebook group, Carol. I'm sure somebody will absolutely love them and want to give them a really nice home. I'll maybe mention it in the Nacho Lounge as well. Those ladies do like their shoes. Oh, Helen says she's pretending to do paperwork. I like your style. Yeah. I decided I've got a severe case of procrastination because I just seem to knit instead of doing all the important stuff. And I just go, I didn't get around to that today. I was just really busy knitting. Nobody knows, it's fine, and you're not going to tell anyone, are you? So I'm sure somebody there would know, or will have a group of their own that they can perhaps share them with. Emma Jane Sadler, is that right? Oh, it's not playing me the GIF. It wants to take me to another website. What does the GIF do there, Emma? Or are you the wrong one to ask? Because for anybody who's watching this on YouTube later, it's a picture of Homer Simpson, and what's the other one? The next door neighbour, Ned Flanders. The one that says Howdly Doodly, that one. Oh, Carol's pretending to write a pattern. Oh, do tell us more, Carol. What are you pretending to write a pattern for? Is it another beautiful cowl, or are you branching out into other accessories? I knew Yvonne would bite here. What kind of shoes and what size? Yeah, Yvonne's got teeny weeny feet, really delicate, pretty feet. Emma Jane Sadler, it was Homer singing Nacho, Nacho Man. Do you know, it's about the only type I ever meet. What can I say? Although on the plus side, at least one bloke got to feel my boobs this year when the doctor had a look at them at the hospital. So, you know, it's all good. Somebody's had a cop. Oh. 1, 2, and that's row 3. Dank so size 6 US, size 36 EU. Oh, Yvonne, you could be in luck. Isn't that your size? I'm sure you're a 3, which is about 36. Oh, Emma Jane Sadler, I got a bit of a back massage. Oh, did you now? A back massage? Excellent drugs? And signed off? I don't know. Carol says she's designing a hat. Is it a beanie type hat, or are you doing sort of a colourwork beret? Are we going to see some more beautiful colourwork? Is it going to match your cowl that you released? Do tell. Are you going to be doing similar colours? I really love those kind of earthy tones of that one. Oh, you're in luck there, Carol. Yvonne says, can you DM a pic? Because that's her size. I thought they were really cute, Yvonne, but they wouldn't fit me, obviously. Clod hoppy feet that I've got. That's good, isn't it? Matching everybody up tonight. I'm even more boiling now. I feel like I'm having a hot flush. One more round, and then it's the last of the main decreases, and then there's just one to do immediately after that. How cool is that? So, Carol, it's a stranded baby child hat. Oh, lovely. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. You'll have to let us know in the after party group when you want testers. Oh, great. Sounds like you're figuring out a deal there for the shoes. Marvellous. Helen Gibson, have you managed to do a deal yet on green tomatoes? Worth pursuing. You are so good at your chutneys and jellies and beautiful preserves. So what's everybody got planned for the weekend? Is there anything exciting? Emma Jane Sadler says she's got hand knitted socks on in bed and is roasting, but can't get them off without pulling her back. Well, you have children in the house, Emma. Make them do it and tell them to be glad it's not your knickers. So, you know, that's what teens are for. Right, just working away with my ninja stars. Can't believe somebody's called me cool. How funny is that? Oh, Yvonne's planning lots of resting and knitting. That sounds like a super good plan and absolutely what I will prescribe for you while you just recover from your idiot boss. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so mean about your boss, but she is a knob at times. For all she can be very kind at others, I think she just forgets herself. Emma, I just spat my tea at that. Was that the comment about the knickers? I hope you didn't spit tea all over that bedding, because you'll have to get the teenagers to change the bedding. One, two, three, four, five. Right, here we go. On to the last of the main decreases, and then just one to go. I'm hoping it's the same length as the other sleeve, because otherwise I'm going to be in big trouble, aren't I? It's not really a yarn you can do much with the blocking. I have to stretch one sleeve more, or just stand lopsided or something like something out the Addams family. That would be a good plan, wouldn't it? What do you think, Emma Sadler? Helen Gibson, how is your latest square coming along? Because I absolutely love that light blue. Was it a light blue with the two cable shapes either side of a central cable and all intertwined and knotted together? That was fabulous. I'm really excited to see that blanket. Oh, boss kept nagging why Yvonne didn't have results yet and kind of implied she was keeping it from her. Well, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's childish. As if you would hide something like that. I'm sorry, there are times when I do feel like flying over and slapping that woman till she bleeds, but there you are. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Emma says, sounds like a plan to me. Do you mean on the bed changing, or do you mean on me slapping Yvonne's boss? It clearly just needs a wallop. Just occasionally, but just to remind her, you know, not to be such a prick. So, did everybody see that marvellous clip of our PM doing a talk in a school library where the librarian had put all these dystopian books behind him while he made his speech? I have to say that was Librarians 1, Prime Minister 0. It did really tickle me. Helen Gibson, the current block is just a diamond lattice. Okay. Just, because, you know, they're so easy. We're all sat there going, yeah, okay. Just. It's just a diamond lattice to you. To us, it might be more of a challenge. But you're going through all the pain and the hard work now so that we don't have to. We can just follow directions and charts and it'll all just be totes amazing, won't it? I might have to have a sneaky look at my other sleeve and see whether I did the final decrease straight after this one or whether I did 2 rows. Saw it on Twitter, says Yvonne. Awesome. Gotta love librarians. I thought the humour was just extremely funny. You know, very, very clever. And I would probably never have noticed it. I think that's the sort of sad bit, that somebody not pointed it out. I would never have even thought to check for that kind of humour there. So there you are. And apparently Ed Davey, if anybody's heard of him, is now the leader of the Liberal Democrats, which is my party, which I just kind of found a bit astounding. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but there you are. It's not my problem. Right, there's that. And that's the last of my decreases, so I could, in theory, swap to my smaller needles now. Oh yeah, the twits, that was funny. I thought, yeah, it was just an exceptional collection of really cheeky books. You'd have thought there's someone in his entourage would have had a quick snack and just checked first. I feel a bit sorry for Boris at times because I don't think he's got the best and brightest advice around him. And I don't know that they're necessarily looking out for his best interests in the way that they should for their leader. So it's a bit sad, really. Here we go. Oh, it's showing me another notification. I don't know if that. Okay. Somebody's saying thank you for me wishing them happy birthday yesterday. But obviously just catching up. Must have had a good day. So I can't think of anything else really to tell you. Has anybody got any questions? You have a bit of a Q&A? Or anything you would like to talk about? Do fire it at me. I'll give you a minute to catch up, because obviously what I see on the screen isn't necessarily what's happening anywhere else. And I do need to count my stitches to make sure I've actually got 40 now for my cuff. But I think I'm actually going to do it from my 4 balls of yarn. How cool is that? I mean, that's so ridiculously cheap, isn't it? I'm going to put it to one side and I'll start the cuff in the morning. I think that's a better plan. Fresh eyes and all that. I like the advice he gets from Dominic Cummins. Well, you know, it must be difficult in any position of power to know who to trust and who's actually on your team as opposed to on their own team. And I don't envy anybody in a position of leadership or power for having to negotiate that and try and figure that out at times. And particularly if you're naturally a trusting person, it must be quite hard to navigate. But did I see that he's now got a personal trainer and looks very unhappy jogging? Well, I look much the same when I jog. Lumpy, sweaty, uncomfortable, bits wobbling all over the place. And I don't particularly enjoy it. But afterwards, I feel loads better. But yeah, it does get easier. I think it's good that he's leading by example on this, because he has lost some weight and he is trying to get fitter, and he's targeting obesity and things like that and telling people that they've got to lose weight. So I think it is important that he does that himself. So, you know, 10 out of 10 for leading by example. It's not often we see that from a politician, is it? But yeah, it did amuse me that he looked just as crap as I do. Michelle says I look unhappy when I'm jogging. Helen say at least he's doing it. I look crap sitting on the sofa. You do not look crap sitting on the sofa. You've got beautiful skin and beautiful eyes and lovely hair. And you have a great smile. You always look lovely to me. So enough of that. But yeah, he's giving it a go. That reminds me, this morning my husband said that as the weather isn't great, I could try a gentle jog on the treadmill. Yeah, I think you've spelt that wrong, Emma. It's actually with a D at the beginning. It's a dreadmill. So yeah, can you just fix your spelling on that one to be more accurate? At that point, I nearly passed out from pain just going for a wee. Well, that's husbands for you, isn't it? I remember when I was having Jake, before the emergency cesarean and before they realised his head had got stuck and he was never coming out without a zipper job. My ex-husband saying, because I'm sat like Darth Vader going with the old gas and air, and he said, you only breathe that in when it hurts. Remember something, a very sweary version of when you're farting a football, we'll discuss pain relief. And then I was sick on his new suede shoes. So, you know, it's the best way to get revenge. Helen says it's good that he's not scared to go out when he's not perfect, more realistic for the rest of us, and thank you. Yeah, I think it sets a really good example, because there's far too many politicians who say, you're fat, or you're lazy. Do you remember Norman Tebbit and they get on your bike and look for work, and they don't necessarily understand how challenging it can be. But Boris actually does get the fact that weight loss isn't simple. It's not just eat less, move more. Some of it is hormonal, some of it is other conditions that you've got, and everybody needs support with it. And the fact that he's prepared to go out looking like a sack of tatties tied up in the middle, I must say, very sweaty, hot and uncomfortable sack of tatties, bless him. I think that, I honestly I'm not a fan of his government, as you well know, but I take my hat off him, because leading by example is a hard thing to do. And there are so many people who just don't. They preach it, but they don't do it. So 10 out of 10, because it makes it look more achievable and realistic for the rest of us. And there's far too much of this Instagram culture. I'm going to go on my soapbox at the moment, because Emma's not here to smack me in the head. But yeah, it's just really not funny that we're expected to look perfect all of the time, and be super scrawny thin, and set unrealistic expectations for who we are and what we are, when the reality is we're all beautiful in our own ways. We're all really good at certain things. We've got talents, we've got gifts, we've got good personalities, we've got a stash to last a lifetime, and we will survive the zombie apocalypse next year, or Mad Max, or whatever's happening in 2021. Let's not even go there. But we'll be fine, because we've got other skills. But I think it's good that the government are starting to lead by example. And, Boris, 10 out of 10 for effort. Helen Gibson, I know about back pain and the loo. I almost screamed. Oh, ouch. Yeah. Helen Curzon, totally agree with this. I agree, Lorraine. Emma, why would I slap you for speaking this truth? Well, because I just roll it out sometimes, and I don't really think it through. It's gob into gear before brain on occasion. So sometimes I just need a slap. Helen's saying she started a diet again at the beginning of the week, and so far being good. I went a bit off the rails at the weekend, I have to say, and I'm not really sure why. Saturday, which is usually my trigger difficult day, I was dead good. No problems at all. Sunday, I had to get some shopping, and I can see a packet here. So this is the evidence. So I know that you're not going to tell anybody, and nobody would grass me up to my Slimming World leader. But these are 4 or 4.5 sins a pack on Slimming World. And I don't know if there are 6 or 8 in the bag that these came in. But I had one pack, and I was on the phone call and sorting out something for somebody. And then I had another pack. And Jake wasn't here. and now there are none. So, you know, I think I am a mindless muncher. I think that's my thing. Of if it's there, I'll eat it. And Jake has learned that if I buy cake or bake for him, he takes the tin up to his room, and I won't then go into his room to get the cake. If you leave it in the kitchen, I will inhale it, let alone eat it. It'll just be hoovered up and gone. Oh, Helen Curzon says, Emma, I've seen your crush being tipped to be the next PM. Hey, you, get off my Rishi Sunak. I saw him first. Actually, I've got a bit of a thing about a lock shamer. I like them a bit more cuddly. Helen, obviously it would be amazing, and I bet he looks lovely exercising. Maybe I could go down and give him a rub down afterwards. Well, you know, that with appropriate social distancing, you could bring a mop. Do it with a mop. Or one of those squeegee things that you do, you know, the roof of the car. Something like that. Helen says, they're all there. I'm not surprised you needed multiples, and I'm definitely a mindless muncher. I think because I hadn't had crisps or anything kind of munchy like that for probably a year or more, I think I just went off the rails because it was like, oh, this is kind of good. And I love anything cheesy like that. And it definitely must be one of my trigger tastes. I've not had chocolate or really even wanted it. Coco is desperate to get in touch. You can have him a lock. There'd definitely not be any distancing. He's actually really nice to talk to. He's quite a clever man. He was a very good housing minister, I have to say, when we dealt with him over that. Get off my Rishi Sunak sounds rude. It does, doesn't it? It sounds like a bit of a euphemism. Yeah, get off my Rishi Sunak. But yeah, I liked it a lot because he just came across as quite considered and quiet and intelligent, and he does have a good sense of humour. Helen Gibson thinks I'm going stir crazy. Yes, probably. Locked up for months. Haven't seen Mike since December last year. Mind you, neither has anybody else. Hashtag patio. So, you know. Helen says she's not planning to do much talking, though. Oh, okay, that's fine. Is it bring your own baby oil? At least you'll have that. Oh, Yvonne had to Google him, and he does look quite nice. He's very handsome. He's a bit of a looker. And he's tall and quite slim and super clever, which, to be honest, is much more attractive to me than the packaging. I do like a clever man. Not so clever that he's just, you know, a smart ass. As Emma says, stop making me laugh, it hurts. As if we'd do that, Emma. As if we would. Yeah, I noticed nobody's saying this about poor old Bozza, though, are they? Bojo's not on our list. Nobody's offering to give him a bit of a leg massage after his jog. Oh, Rishi Sunak, Helen says, is quite muscular for a politician. You've obviously had a much closer look than I have, because I just sort of vaguely glance. I did object to some of the coverage about, is it Chris Whitty, one of the medical advisors, complaining that he looked a bit boring and he wasn't handsome. I'm thinking, I'm sorry, I prefer my medical advisors to actually know what they're talking about, be intelligent, have the appropriate knowledge and qualifications, and I don't care if he looks like a baked potato or a bulldog chewing a wasp. I need to know that he's smart and he's giving us the right advice. Beyond that, I'm not really bothered. Oh, so Rishi Sunak married to the daughter of one of the richest men in India, I believe. Oh, well. He could explain Keynesian theory whilst I stroked him. And no, not Boris. He was wearing quite a fitted shirt the other day, says Helen. Not that you were all of a flutter at all. And he Is he the only reason that you are still watching the Downing Street briefings when they happen? Are there any of the updates? Come on. Oh no. Never about Boris. The sack of spud sums him up quite well. Yeah, he's a bit like Compo in a nice suit, isn't he? And with wellies tucked underneath his trousers rather than over the top. Bless him. Absolutely. I really like the medical experts. His wife is gorgeous too. Is this Rishi's wife or Chris Whitty's wife? Who are we talking about now? And or are we on about Boris's? Which wife? Whose wife? Oh, Jonathan Van Tam. I like. He's kind of comforting. A safe pair of hands, is it? Is that what they say? Oh, Helen says she likes to stay informed. I'm sure you do. Oh, so Rishi's wife is very beautiful as well. Yeah, well, yeah, they'd make a power couple, wouldn't they? And everyone, the press would be all over and being dead mean if she looked like a bulldog chewing a wasp, wouldn't they? Because they just do. So they're not really pleasant about things like that. I never really understood all the fuss when Julia Roberts married, what was he called, the US singer? Is it Lyle Lovett? He kind of has a face. He's got one of those sort of straight across, almost slash mouths like a Muppet. Bless him. But comes across as a really nice bloke, and I thought the press were really horrible to him. Oh, Jonathan Van Tam. Emma says he's got balls. Have you been checking those out with Helen? Was that the purpose of the brand? I thought they had podiums in front of them. Perhaps I've missed something. He will say what he thinks rather than toe the party line. Boris has had a series of gorgeous women. He must have something we're missing. Yeah, it's obviously something really well hidden, Helen. I think it might be his wallet. Not sure it's anything else. I think it's the wallet. I think that's what it is. I mean, imagine the yarn budget. Oh, Michelle's been off to Google Jonathan Van Tam. Has he got a new fan now? Is he on your list of possibles? He does look quite sweet. So, anything else? What can we talk about now? Hello. It's got a Labrador who's... Come on then. You can quickly say hello. Thank you. Not all over my sweater and certainly no lick in the face. Okay, Coco's come up to be affectionate but lick my chest in case I've got crumbs there from lunch or dinner. Yeah. And I obviously have. So there she is. There. What's that there? There we are. The other one, 45 kilos of dog. The other one won't get up at all. Not for love nor money. I don't know what that's about. Stop it. Excuse me. It's not a COVID cough. It's a Labrador cough. Emma says she needs a wee. Well, you might have to get someone to help you to the bathroom. Oh, I think Michelle's found herself another squeeze there. Jonathan Van Tam's been added to the list with our Rishi. Bit of a cue. So which teenager is going to take you for a piddle? He isn't particularly good looking, but I do like his attitude during the briefings he did. Yeah, he just comes across as competent, I think. Which can be attractive in itself, can't it? Doesn't necessarily need to look like a film star. I mean, I don't particularly like men who are gloriously attractive and who look like they're going to spend more time in the bathroom preening themselves than you ever could in a million years. Michelle, cute. Bun Bun is molting a spare bunny at the moment. Oh, that's nice. Is it a very small or a very large spare bunny? Yvonne says Jonathan Van Tam looks very likeable. He does look like a trustworthy person. But, you know, all I'll throw in there is Ted Bundy was kind of nice looking. So we'll just put that one on the table and just, you know, packaging isn't everything. So I never got on the Brad Pitt bandwagon. Yeah, never really appealed to me. I don't mind him now that he's actually older and he's a bit more wrinkly. I can put up with him now, but certainly no time for him at all. Helen Gibson, we had 6 bunnies on our lawn yesterday. Oh, wild bunnies as opposed to your pet bunnies. Helen says, after living with my husband, competent is very attractive. Yeah, I kind of get that. I get that completely. Mike's more recent attempts at DIY. I kind of look at every job that wants doing around the house now and mentally calculate what it will cost me to pay someone and who I'm going to call to get that done, because he's so not doing any more work on this house. Well, and I would have to dig him up, obviously, from under the patio. Emma Jones Sadler, my lockdown crush was Tim Minchin. See, I told you she was off her face on drugs, didn't I? You're just proving the point now, Emma Jane Sadler. Is it the hair? What is it? I'm not getting it. It kind of looks a little bit effeminate to me, which I don't really find attractive. Arthur would be in his element with all this talk of bunnies. He would. Absolutely would. I'm not sure what Mocha and Coco would do. They have chased a rabbit once, and Coco caught it, and then the pair of them dropped it, and then sat and watched as it ran off, and then looked at me as if to say, well, what do we do with it now? They had absolutely no clue. So, I don't know. Oh, she says it's the dreads in the eyeliner. Yeah, you are definitely drugged. Yeah, eyeliner, Emma. Yeah. I think you need to have a bit less of the codeine and the muscle relaxant tomorrow. Just saying. And perhaps cancel that work chat tomorrow on the basis that you are temporarily crippled. Oh, she liked that look on Captain Jack Sparrow. No, not for me. Not really. Johnny Depp. Too effeminate. More Orlando Bloom. So, you know, he looks a bit more manly to me. Oh, Michelle says she's not a Tim Minchin fan. It can be very funny, and there was that speech he did back at his school, wasn't there? Or was it at his university about the top lessons for life? And that was really clever and very funny. And it might be an interesting dinner date, you know, for that dinner party that you want where you want to invite Oscar Wilde. And Helen's saying, and Jude Law now is getting a bit more lived in. I would agree with you on Jude Law. Did not like him at all as a young man. But yeah, more tolerable now. Orlando as Legolas. Yeah, definitely. Michelle's not a Johnny Depp fan either. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Not for me. Didn't even like Edward Scissorhands. Oh, Tim Minchin wrote Matilda the musical. Oh, very good. He's obviously very talented. But yeah, he just doesn't float my boat. Sorry. Now, what's his name that plays George Washington in Hamilton? How long? Honestly, having to sing the song to get to what's your name, man? Except Hamilton. Is it Christopher Park or Christopher Parker? Whatever. Much nicer. Just throwing that one out there. And I've always really liked Tommy Lee Jones, even though he's as old as God's dog now. I like a manly man. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but yeah, I like a blokey bloke, not a girly bloke. Just, it is, you know. Yeah, so I was Christopher Jackson. Oh, Izon's asking if I'm still here. I'll have to do a little gif or something. Oh, that's just Emma having her drugs. So there we are. On the other hand, I did really like Phil Collins. Says it all, really. Yeah. I suppose at least he's not going to spend all day combing his hair, is he? Helen says he looked awful in the last Bourne film. Who did? Who looked awful in the last Bourne film? Helen. And Emma's taking her pills. Oh, goodness. Yeah, another round of off my tits in the offing. So. TLJ. Oh, Tommy Lee Jones. Oh, okay. As a sort of in his 40s and 50s, I think that he's a bit gone to seed now. But when he was in the Men in Black films, most definitely. Everyone else at work was raving about Will Smith, and I was thinking, yeah, the old white bloke. Now I like Will Smith, but you know. Emma says she's on diazepam and codeine. Oh. Perhaps get your wee first before you take your tablets. Get your children to carry you to the toilet like an old sack. Oh, see, Michelle likes Tommy Lee Jones, and I'm a big Robert Downey Jr. fan, young or old. He's just got that edgy bad boy quality that I find irresistible. Oh yeah, and The Fugitive. Yeah. And what's the one with Robert Downey Jr.? The follow-up to that with what's his name? The fellow who plays the supposed baddie in The Fugitive, who isn't actually a baddie at all. Oh, I don't know. It'll come back to me. Helen played diazepam to win a game of Scrabble once. My goodness. See, I'd have been there all day trying to figure out if I'd spelt it right. I'd have had to Google it. I'd have been seriously struggling. Someone did offer to play online Scrabble with me the other week, and I think after the first game you could almost hear her sighing in frustration. How utterly rubbish I was. I'm not strategic at all. And I just kind of throw the tiles around to spell any old thing and get rid of them without any great thought to the fact that a cue might be handy to have in reserve, or those blanky ones that you can use for anything. So yeah, it's not my strength. I'm in awe of Helen's ability to just sort of toddle up and say, oh yeah, I've just learned another 5,007 letter words. Just think, I didn't know that. I mean, I suppose there must be 5,007 letter words, but I had no idea there were, or what most of them were even. And some of the words that they come up with in these Scrabble games, I just think, how on earth did you know that? You must have to research it to the nth degree. That's serious dedication. US Marshals, that's the one, Michelle. And what's the name of the other fella that's in it? The fella who's actually the goodie but is portrayed as the baddie. Whose name I can't remember to save my life. How bad is that? I'll just give you a minute to Google through it, because I know that that's what you're doing. Emma Jane Sadler, I struggle to get more than 4 letters on countdown. I can usually manage to get a few. Where I fall over is the numbers thing, where they put all the numbers up and then it comes up with 963, and you have to work it back from what you've got. I would be there all week. It's just, knitting maths, shopping maths seems to be my limit. Ah, yeah, so Michelle is Googling. Marvellous. Have you got his name yet? Because it's really breaking my brain ache. I can't believe I can't remember his name. I sat and watched Blade Trinity last week, which I wasn't sure whether that was going to be any good, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I think probably because, let me make sure I've got the right Ryan. Ryan Reynolds was in it. And he's his usual sort of mouthy, quick talking self in it, and I quite enjoyed that. Not seen it, so I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, okay. Hang on. I'll have to Google through it now, won't I? Let me find my keyboard. It's over here somewhere. US Marshals. Cast. No, apparently there's only one L in Marshals. Meavy. Wesley Snipes. Why couldn't I think of his name? I could picture him and do a list of all the other films he's been in. I don't know. What am I like? I think baby brain never quite goes away. Ryan Reynolds was in Blade 3. Yes. Or Blade Trinity, whatever that was. And is it Jessica Biel or something like that? Right, just bear with me a second. I'm going to have to take my headphones off and throw the dogs out, because otherwise I think we're going to have Labrador pee on the floor. Excuse me a moment. Sorry about that. I think it's time for bed, says Emma. I think you're absolutely right. You probably should go to bed. I quite like Ryan Reynolds. I like him in that movie with Sandra Bullock, where she's his boss and she forces him to get engaged to her as a cover so that she can get her US passport. Or whichever way around it is. Is it a Canadian passport she's after? I don't know. Whichever one. I quite like that. He's very funny in that. And frequently not overly dressed either. Not surprised with the drugs that you're on, Emma. Yeah, go and get some sleep. Enjoy sunsets. And we'll hear from you in the morning. Make sure one of those children takes you to the bathroom. That's good. Right, well, I can't think of anything much else to tell you. Or ask you for that matter. It's probably time I was starting to get ready for my bed. Certainly my allergy tablet time. So we'll see you on Sunday. Hopefully Emma Jane Sadler will be fighting fit, or at least limping fit and able to join us on Sunday. If not, is there anything you would like us to talk about? Or shall I just do a little bit of a pattern roundup and show you some of the things that have caught my eye in the new autumn releases? There have been some really pretty patterns come out in the last few weeks. Shall we have a look at maybe hats and cowls for a change? Because we've done quite a few on garments and whatnot. So maybe let me know. Oh, lovely to see you all, and thank you for coming, my darlings. So lovely to have some company. We didn't want to miss tonight as well, and Emma was really keen to get on to chat and join in. So, you know. Stops us sitting in bed and just feeling all a bit lonely and fed up, doesn't it? So yeah, we've had a good giggle tonight, and Helen's going to be going to bed with dreams of Rishi Sunak and baby oil. So, you know, it's all good. What else? So, lifelines, and yes, new autumn releases. So yeah, I will do the lifeline thing on Sunday with the interchangeable circular needles, and I'll do a roundup of some favourites from the autumn releases. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been brilliant to see you all, and to see you on Sunday. Thank you, and good night. Let me